Kia ora and welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
I'm Matthew, and as you can see behind us, actually, well, just look at the thing. It's the new Lexus RX500h.
That's right, it's the F-Sport of the Radiant crossover, and it's the 5th generation. So come, let's take a look at this. Now, it's hard to underestimate the importance of this vehicle for Lexus. Not only was it launched in 1998, and so it's already got 20 years or so under its belt, but it's also sold over 3.2 million units. So it really is a monster of a seller for it. Actually, round about 30% of unit sales for the brand. So it is massive. We only managed to get the Lexus RX in 2002 or 2003 when it was in its 2nd generation. As I say, now it's turned into 5th generation, and well, just look at it. It's quite a substantial vehicle, grown in size and also in looks. Looking around the front of it, it's got this new look about the spindle grills, so it's very much molded into the bodywork here. The lights themselves, they've got a blade scan here. They're bi-turboed LEDs. Actually, they're bifocal. Anyway, there's plenty of light stuff going on here, and you can easily clean them as well. It pops up and cleans them. Fantastic. And plenty of airflow, making sure there's stuff going down the body. Let's get some of the housekeeping out of the way. So will it fit in your garage? In terms of length, it's 4.89 meters long, and in terms of height, just under 1.7 meters. So longer and sort of shorter, which makes it very sleeker. In terms of sleekness, they're calling it like a spindle sort of shape as well as the grille. So it's sort of, again, sort of in and out, and you'll notice a lot of light play, particularly when the light comes down. And on that is about the color. What we have is a Sonic copper. That doesn't mean it's made by Sonic the Hedgehog, but it is got lots of Sonic and clever stuff when they made the paintwork. Matthew knows a lot more about this because he's a bit of a geek, or a paint geek, but anyway, that's what this is. The wheels themselves, they're lovely 21 inches. They're in this lovely sort of matte black, and look at them. Michelin Pilot sports around and stick to the road really well. Also, the rear has got some rear steering on it, so these will actually move 4 degrees depending on whether you're going faster with your sort of shape, or whether you're in a small area where you can do a small turnaround. And the platform itself is a GAK, so very, very good platform. So what we got here is a lovely floating roofline that brings you round to the rear here, which gives you a roofline spoiler. You've got the LED tail lights that comes back with a lovely sort of east-west full width light bar across here. You've got your RX500 badging with your Direct 4, showing that it's a 4-wheel drive, or your Direct 4 system. You've got some fake air vents here and around here, so bit of lovely garnish, and also a kicker tailgate that opens up to 570 litres of boot space, so it's actually bigger than before. And also you've got some little buttons here to drop the rear seats down, so you don't have to do it manually. Why should you? You've got your space saver under here, and actually just plenty of space. Anyway, let's look under the bonnet. Now, with the new RX, or the 5th generation RX, Lexus have gone with 2 particular distinctive models. You've got the 350h and the 500h. The 350 is a 2.5 litre actual naturally aspirated with a hybrid. This one is something totally different. So this is a 2.4 litre turboed engine married to an 8-speed gearbox, and also with the hybrid system behind it. So what you've got is 273 kilowatts of power and 460 newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 in 6.2 seconds, and also in terms of efficiency, 7.2 litres per 100 kilometres. And it also, through those twin exhausts that you can't see out the back, is actually giving you 165 grams of CO2 out of there. So it's sort of very efficient, good for the environment. It's a big vehicle, and actually got a lot going for it, and quick. Something that Matthew can't say in his resume. Anyway, he's inside and he'll show you what's going on in there.
Now, regardless of what Dave says about me or not about me, there's no way I can go through this interior of this Lexus RX quickly, because there is simply so much to talk about, so much of technology, quality, luxury, all of that stuff. Lexus have really brought their A game with this car. And just to start off with the design wise, they call it Tazuna, which in Japanese is the sort of phrase used for a horse rider taking the reins of the horse, and that's what they want you to feel like as the driver in this vehicle. And I've got to say, the driving position is just so comfortable. The steering wheel, the seats, the general sort of feeling of space and comfort that you have in here is quite exceptional. And that of course starts with those F-Sport seats. Now they are full leather, of course. You've got perforations, you've got heating, you've got ventilating, both driver and passenger, and they are a mix of both suede leather as well as sort of finished full grain leather. Similarly with the doors, you do get this suede sort of pattern going through, and they are soft touch right from the top down to the very bottom, so they really have not compromised on quality anywhere, frankly. As you can see as well, when you start to look at the more finer details in the suede, I mean, the craftsmanship level in here is just something else, and it's just truly the pinnacle of what Lexus can do. And well, it is here, it is the pinnacle of their sort of SUV range, barring of course the size up, which is the LX. But in here, the level of finish right down to all the switches, everything that you touch just feels so well put together, so solid. And then, well, that's what luxury is, isn't it? Just the quality that you do get. I do want to touch on a couple of the niche, well, the more technological bits of the luxury, and that for one comes in the form of this 21 speaker Mark Levinson audio system, which you do also get a 22 centimeter subwoofer in the boot of the car as well. The door handles, now I don't know if you can actually call them handles, but they are what Lexus call the E-latch. So you simply push on the handle to open the door, but in the event that you need to manually override it, there's no separate handle or anything on the door. It's the very same unit that instead you pull to open. So some really smart design and sort of forward-thinking ability from the Lexus engineers to put just a simple piece together. Just goes to show the level of attention to detail that is in this cabin. Speaking of attention to detail, I'm going to talk about the central unit over here, because you've got a really nice integration of things that are tucked away, but once you start to open up the cubbies and stuff, you tend to see how much space there is and how much thoughtfulness. So they have put a little, I guess it almost looks like a cliff edge over here for your phone. You've got another space in there and a wireless charging pad, but all of the spaces for your phone are tucked away nice and far away from your line of sight, which helps with not distracting the driver at all with the devices. You do also get 3 USB-C charging ports over here, 1 USB-A, a 12-volt socket as well, if your phone doesn't wirelessly charge. So they have got you completely covered in every single power aspect. You've obviously got your 2 cup holders in here, the new Lexus gear shift as well, which is a lot smaller as you can see, but still follows that similar sort of motion where you've got to move it in different directions. So there's no sort of set straight track, if you like. The other thing is this glove box. Well, it hinges both ways, or it's double hinged, so I can do this and close it like so, and then open it from the other side as well. So they really have thought about those things as well. Lastly, you do get a massive dual panoramic sunroof as well overhead to add to the feeling of luxury and air and quality in here. Now this 14-inch infotainment screen, as you can see there, is the updated system, and there's so much going on here in terms of technology, in terms of connectivity, and of course in terms of air conditioning, but I'll get to that in a minute. First, as you can see there, it's got sat-nav inbuilt, which is really easy to use over there, and the display, look at that, nice and clear. You've got several different audio inputs. You've got phone connectivity in the form of your Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and there's also Miracast as well if you wanted to add one more to that already extensive list. Now, a little design feature there, as you can see the car over there, and that is actually, you can see the fascia and the spindle grille of a Lexus RX on there. So I find that sort of thing quite cool from that side. Push it on, push the car on to turn it on, and you can see all of these light up, including the drive modes, of which you have 3 presets and 1 custom the energy flow meter in typical Toyota fashion. You can see there the engine, batteries in the middle, and then that'll just show a cycle through in terms of charging and discharging as well. Head back, and then you've got settings for your all-wheel drive as well, and there are actually shortcuts for the different drive modes in the middle too. After all of that customization, you've also got a settings menu, or rather an app menu over here, and you can keep scrolling through to select different sort of shortcuts and things that are provided over here. As you can see there, in terms of safety systems as well, there are plenty available, and you can disable them simply with one touch off and on, as easy as that too. So kudos to Lexus for doing that. The air conditioning, you can see there, we've got dual zone in the front plus an extra zone in the back, which makes it tri-zone. And the air conditioning incorporates what's called a Panasonic Nano EX air filtration system. So there you go, you get clean air on the inside and plenty of technology to play with as well while you're in here. Now, as I spoke about before, that Japanese principle of the rider taking the reins of the horse, well, that's what they want you to feel like gripping the steering wheel, and just the feel of it is so good. The leather, it's heated, and of course tri-spoke with an F-Sport badge on it to give you that extra sense of performance and dynamism. Speaking of dynamism, you do get Lexus's dynamic cruise control, you get the teammate park assist, and you do also get dynamic rear steering, which we'll show you in a bit, which is another super cool part of this Lexus RX. The buttons, as you can see, the layout is nice and simple, and it almost looks in part like it's mirrored, but you do get different functions on each side. Of course, the right side controls your adaptive cruise or your dynamic cruise control and the screen in front, and then on the left side you've got your audio and sort of connectivity controls as well. The gauges in front are fully digital, and they've got the main screen in the middle, plus you've got your temperature and your fuel on either side. But the main screen itself is full of information. It's got your audio connectivity, your lane assist, your speedometer, your rev counter, all of that stuff. It's really well done though, so in a way that it presents you with this information without being overwhelming. And I think that's just excellence on the part of Lexus all around in this interior. It's been so impressive. Speaking of impressive, I'm sure Harry will be equally as impressed with those back seats as I am with this area in the front here.
And Matt couldn't really be more right. I'm seriously impressed with the back here on the RX. It's really good. You can even see that I wore a jacket to match such a beautiful color for this car. And this the back here is seriously impressive. You get all the same quality that you get in the front in terms of the choices of materials all the way to the very bottom of the door. You also get the awesome door handles that are not actually handles. But then in terms of comfort, first of all, you get the sunroof, which is lovely, especially surrounded by this amazing headliner that is a little bit like on the suede side of things. As mentioned, you get the tri-zone climate control, so you get the option to choose your own temperature and the vents, and then 2 USB-C charging ports for all of your devices. But then in terms of comfort, first of all, you get this awesome thing with the sills of the doors being protecting your trousers for when you come in and out. And then these reclining seats have probably one of the best leather that I have tried recently. It's really, really good. So yeah, no questions. You would be very, very happy sitting on the back of the RX.
Now, normally we just pull straight away and just show you how fast this goes off the mark, but I just want to have a quick spin of the this car park, just show you the four-wheel steer. Hang on, but there you go. And now let's do the pull away. It's not bad for a vehicle that weighs 2 tons and actually can tow 2 tons. So it's quite the turbo makes a big difference.
It's actually really impressive, this 2.4 liter turbo powertrain coupled with a gearbox and the hybrid system. And the 0 to 100 time is 6.2 seconds, which is traditionally what we know as hot hatch territory, but instead it's a big leather-filled, 5-seater luxury SUV.
Absolutely. Okay, Matthew is desperate to tell you about the Sonic copper, so go ahead.
Okay, so just for the car nerds out there, so this Sonic copper paint has been in the works from Lexus for about 15 years, and they have a team of about 30 people who just work on developing paint technology like this. And what they've done basically to command that sonic nameplate is to use sonic waves to distribute the paint particles uniformly across the car, and then cover it with a thin film of aluminium vapor. Now, I've got some of the chemical words mixed up here and there, but essentially what it is paint. You got a layer of sort of very thin aluminium on the top, and that gives you this vivid reflective surface that this paint color offers. And you know, there's so many different lights that it looks different in, and all of that, the light play essentially. But there you go.
Okay, enough of that. What you need to know is, please don't scratch it, because your mechanic or your body panelist is going to take ages to try to get it the right color. So anyway, there you go. But it is a great color and does match really well, or it does distribute the light really well. So there you go. In terms of drivability, man, this car is good off the mark, and also when you get it into corners, it just hugs really nicely. There is a little bit of body roll, but it just the all-wheel steer, or the rear wheel steer, really makes that difference. So it just glides around really nicely.
And I've got to say, I'm really impressed, because it is riding on 21 inch wheels, sorry. Yeah. And despite the fact that we're on essentially an open pore road here, and there's pretty much no road noise coming through from the tires at all. It's really well insulated, and I mean, just the way the suspension is absorbing all the little bumps and things, it's a very comfortable place to be. Absolutely.
Dash layout, Matthew's already gone through, but as far as from a driver's point of view, you just get all the information you want, however you want it. And also, for my poor eyesight now, it's just really crystal clear, so that's really good. Nice big windscreen that's tilted back towards you. Rear, don't have to worry about it, because it's got a rear view camera in the rear view mirror, so you can just see everything behind, with even when you've got all your kids on board, or your executives or whatever it is, just an uninhibited view back there.
Not to forget about the Lexus Tazuna approach, which is the rider taking the reins of the horse. So, and do you feel like that behind the wheel? Do you feel like you're taking the reins of this thing?
I don't know. I don't have a long face, so it's fine.
It certainly smells like a horse in here with Dave.
I think that's a bull smell you saw there. It does feel luxurious. It does feel like you're well cosseted in the seats. The bolstering around the side really will make you want to, well, you're not going to move when you're actually driving around the corners. You're just nice and fixed. Heated seats, ventilated seats, so your comfort's there, and just the quality of everything you touch is so nice.
Absolutely. I mean, the general fit and finish, the way everything's screwed in, there's no panel gaps, no rattles. It's just extremely well done from that sense. And even things like that new E-latch system, you might feel like, okay, a thin latch like this might feel a bit flimsy for opening such a large and heavy door. But again, Lexus, their execution of it has been just excellent in terms of both the tech as well as having a manual backup for it too. So they really have put so much of thought and essentially design thought, especially into making this car.
Gearbox it took me a couple of bits to get used to it, but it's actually really nice. It's all in it's really easy to engage, forward, backwards. Obviously your additional braking mode or manual modes and stuff like that, it's all very simple to move around once you get your head around it. But it's just one little gear knobby thing. It's quite nice.
It all actually pivots around one center, and then you move the knob in various different directions to get the different gears. And speaking of pivoting, I'm going to give this central double hinge gearbox latch again another go, because it didn't work out so well. So there's one side opening, and then there we go, other side. So it does actually work.
Well done. You can actually open a glove box. You're just amazing. Well done. Last but not least is just how the safety or ADAS stuff works with this. Very simple. The head-up display shows everything. You pop up any of these things which are sort of touch sensitive, and it all flashes up and shows you what what's going on with your thumbs on the head-up. It's very cool, very smart, adaptive cruise control. I actually took the 350h model to Taupo the other day or last week, and it just the adaptive cruise runs so well, works so nicely, and I just relaxed actually to a point where I almost wanted to snooze, and thankfully it points at me and makes sure it's watching me as I'm watching the road, or actually wasn't, as the case may be.
Yes, it does have a radar sitting just on the top of the steering column there to keep an eye on the driver and your eyes for fatigue and attention and all that sort of thing. But I've got to say again, the way Lexus have done so in terms of telling you, you know, that you need to be attentive is not in a way that is annoying, and it doesn't, you know, get confused by light or setting sun, stuff like that. Again, it's just, I think all around, inside and out, quality, design, this is just a really nicely done SUV.
You can see why they've sold so many, and well, I think they're going to sell more on this. This is definitely the best version of this model so far. So there you have it, the new Lexus RX500h F-Sport Connect 4, no, Direct 4, so it's not Connect 4, it's not a kid's game. Well, it's an upgrade. It's turbocharged, it's fully laden, and what an impressive drive.
Absolutely. I think this is Lexus at their absolute finest in terms of the execution of the new powertrain, the interior, the technology, and then of course you have that level of luxury and craftsmanship that they've brought to this car, right down from the paint to the leather and the lot. It's just I think an exceptional offering from a Lexus for the money.
It really is. Let's take it for another drive. Come on, giddy up. Hoo-ha!